Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out. This is episode 345. Hope you're all having a decent day so far. Decent? I don't know. I guess I can do better than that. I hope you're having a stellar day. How's that? Well, wherever you are, whomever you're with, and whatever you're doing, thank you for making Tech It Out a part of your day. We do have a great show planned for you this hour. We're going to kick things off with SanDisk in a moment, as they've got a new external drive that borrows the best from a hard drive, huge capacity, with the best from a solid state drive, fast speeds. In fact, I think it's the first product of its kind. After that, Amazon stops by to talk pet tech, what devices they've got for pet owners to take better care of your furry friends, including some tech baked into Alexa-enabled smart speakers, Ring and Blink video doorbells, and more. After that, Kevin Wendt from The Bachelorette joins us to talk air purifiers. He's also a firefighter, so who better to chat with about that in partnership with LG. And finally, IBM is waiting in the wings to talk generative AI. Yes, Gen AI, that is all the buzz these days. All of this and more on an all-new Tech It Out, powered by Intel Core Ultra PCs, which I'll tell you more about shortly. But let's officially kick off this week's new show with our first interview. The biggest benefit to an external hard drive is mass storage. You can download and store a lot of files for safekeeping. And the benefit to a solid state drive, or SSD, is fast speeds, which lets you read and write to those drives super quickly. So they're ideal to work off of and not just used for backup and long-term storage. You with me so far? In other words, each has its advantages. Well, a new product from SanDisk bridges the gap between an external hard drive and a solid state drive, and it's called the SanDisk Desk Drive, desktop SSD. Joining us to tell us all about it is Christina Garza, Director of Product Marketing at Western Digital, the parent company to SanDisk. Hi, Christina. Thanks for joining us on the program again.
Hi, Mark. Thank you for having me.
So before we talk about this new product, again, it's the SanDisk Desk Drive, and I'm a big fan. Let's first take a step back and tell our listeners a bit about SanDisk.
SanDisk is a flash company that is providing storage solutions for all variety of needs, from needing a camera card to needing high capacity external storage for massive workflows. So we'll really run the gamut of portfolio solutions for storage.
Even USB drives, which is flash memory. SanDisk sells quite a few of those. And a solid state drive, or SSD, could be used internally, or what we're talking about today, externally, that you can add on to a device, not just a laptop, which we'll get to. With that in mind then, Christina, at a high level, what is the new desk drive all about? Kind of looks like a hockey puck.
Yeah, the desk drive is there to solve a number of different pain points. It's a desktop SSD, as you mentioned, but it's now pairing HDD capacity with up to 8 terabytes of storage with super fast SSD speeds. So not only are we now offering that high capacity that we know the market is asking for with this explosion of digital content creation, we're offering that with speeds that are so fast you can transfer in near seconds, you can access your content immediately, edit off of this drive, upload really quickly to your platforms, and share it out as needed, all while having that control of having this product in one location on your desk without having to share up in the cloud or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You have control of your content on your desk in one central location.
Right. The cloud's not bad. I mean, I like the idea of off-site storage in case something happens, heaven forbid, a fire or flood or whatever, but it can be slower to access that data. You need a Wi-Fi connection, and you have to pay through the nose if you want more than a couple of gigabytes of data. It's an ongoing thing. And once you stop paying that subscription service, you're without your data, which is not good. So I've always been a fan of external offline storage, both for backup as well as to work off of. So with that kind of storage, up to 8 terabytes or about 8,000 gigabytes, who would you say this drive is for exactly?
This is for someone, a tech enthusiast, a content creator, or someone that just manages a lot of content or high resolution files, high capacity files, such as an architect with 3D CAD renderings. Anybody who's managing a heavy workload of data, who needs a project backup, a second location for all of their project files, project images, videos, whatever it is they're creating, have a second central location that you can work off of so that you can maintain your working file as well as your copy. It's not for someone who's going to dump a bunch of content on it and go put it in the drawer and not visit it again. This product is intended for someone who needs the capacity for their projects or their backup and is going to access it, needs to access it really fast. You're going to be working off this drive, or you're going to come back to it on a daily basis. So it really is intended for someone who needs this type of product for their work.
Love that. And files are getting bigger and bigger, right? 4K video files, 8K video files, those CAD or other kinds of software files that you've already hinted at. So great stuff there. Again, up to 8 terabytes is really big for a solid state drive. That begs my next question then, Christina. Traditionally, SSDs have been more expensive than an HDD, a hard disk drive. Has that changed?
It's a great question. We are seeing the flash, the pricing come down. It is still significantly different than hard drive. However, the benefit of the SSD is adding that speed element. So hard drives are definitely still a use case for someone who needs high capacity, but may not need fast access. They're doing backup, but it's not a working drive.
Right.
The SSD, we're really offering that speed. So attaching high capacity to now that speed element to get to all your stuff faster than you can with hard drives, up to 4 times faster than desktop hard drives.
We are chatting with Christina Garza. She's Director of Product Marketing at Western Digital. That's the parent company to SanDisk, the company that makes award-winning external drives like thumb drives, as well as SD cards for cameras and like GoPros and the like, as well as solid state drives, both internal for computers and video game consoles, as well as external SSDs is what we're talking about today. In fact, this new product called the SanDisk Desk Drive, desktop SSD, if you're just joining us now, bridges the gap between a hard drive that tends to have a ton of storage, like terabytes and terabytes, with the speed that you want from an SSD connected to your computer. And as I hinted at earlier, Christina, it's not just your computer that you can use this product with.
Yeah, so if you have an iPad, for example, or a tablet that you have and you work off of, you do a lot of your work or files or transfers or just want to access the content to view it, it does work with tablets, and Type-C devices is really the key here. If you have a Type-C device, it will work and it'll show up as an external storage device. So you have multiple ways of accessing the content or backing up things on your tablet, for example, or your iPad.
Yeah, so I did give this test on my iPhone, which is USB-C now, no more Lightning connector. I tried it with an Android phone, tried it with an Android tablet and an iPad, and it worked just as well as it did with a laptop and desktop. I did want to remind listeners that because it's called a desktop drive, just keep in mind that you do want to plug this into power. If you have an AC outlet or a power strip, this does require power. There are some SanDisk drives that you can plug in the laptop and bring it with you to go that take the power directly from the laptop, but this is a desktop drive, so it's not something that you're going to want to plug into the wall. Just a heads up. Before I let you go and we talk pricing and where people can buy it, tell us a bit about the software that you can download for this drive and what you can do with it.
Sure. So we encourage people, of course, to use this product as a place to make backups of your content, add a second copy onto this drive so you have good data management. It works perfectly out of the box with Time Machine if that's already your favorite backup software. If you have another backup software, please use it. It works great with whatever Windows or Mac. But we also, for people that do not currently have a backup solution, we offer Acronis True Image for Western Digital. It is a downloadable software straight to your computer, and it is fantastic for doing automatic backup files, recover files and folders. You can clone internal drives, and it is very easy to use. So again, that is a downloadable software called Acronis True Image for Western Digital.
In fact, when you first plug in this drive to your computer, you're going to see that there's a link to download software right from the drive itself. Again, it's optional, but I use that Acronis to back it up like every night at 2 a.m., which is always great.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. I love the convenience of it. All right, so let's now talk costs and what retailers carry it. I believe it comes in both a 4 terabyte and 8 terabyte model.
That's correct. It's the 4 terabyte will start at $379.99. The 8 terabyte will start at $699.99, and it'll be available at all consumer electronic locations, Amazon, our own westerndigital.com store. So yeah, you can reach out, either go and grab it in person, or if you prefer online shopping, it'll be available at all the major retailers.
Again, the product is called SanDisk Desk Drive Desktop SSD. Do a search for that. Christina, it's been great chatting with you once again. Congrats on the launch of this new hybrid device that really does address those pain points that you mentioned earlier. Really been enjoying using it as well. Thank you for the loaner. And we'll talk soon. I look forward to it.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate your time.
Tech It Out is powered by Intel. Earlier this year, the semiconductor giant officially unveiled its Intel Core 14th Gen mobile processors, with several laptops available by all the biggest PC makers, with clock speeds up to 5.8 gigahertz, allowing you to game, stream, record, and share smoothly. And new for select 14th Gen processors, Intel Application Optimizer. It's a tool that intelligently determines app resources, giving you an added boost for gaming performance as it prioritizes that application for you right then and there. Speaking of games, the upcoming Star Wars Outlaws is included on qualifying Intel Core i5, i7, and i9 14th Gen processors when you purchase online, while supplies last. Terms and conditions apply. More info on Intel Core 14th Gen mobile processors is at intel.com. That's intel.com. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out when we talk pet tech with Amazon, including what you can do with your Alexa-powered smart speakers for your furry friends. We'll be right back.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. People who love their pets love their pets. Am I right? Sometimes even more than their human family. And so when I write articles about pet tech, like the latest trackers built into collars, automatic feeders, kitty litter, cleaning bots, and tech toys for your furry friend, I tend to get a ton of messages after the fact. And one place you can score a lot of pet stuff is Amazon. Not just the storefront at amazon.com, but also with pet-friendly features baked into Amazon devices. Joining us on the line to share the deets is Melissa Moore, Director of Smart Home at Amazon. Hi, Melissa. Good to chat with you.
Hi, Mark. Great to chat with you today.
Before we talk about how pet owners can leverage Alexa, Ring, and other Amazon products and services, tell us first about the popularity of Amazon's smart speakers and smart displays.
Yeah, happy to. We continue to be really excited about how customers are using Alexa and really using Alexa as the center of their smart home. Just to give you an idea, today, customers have over 400 million smart home devices connected to their Alexa that they're using every day for all sorts of tasks. But we definitely see a ton of pet lovers using Alexa for different routines and things for their pets as well. We also see that our smart home customers are super engaged. In fact, in the last year, their engagement increased over 20%. So really using those devices for the convenience of their day-to-day living in their home with their family, inclusive of their pets.
Great. So not a gimmick. If you bought maybe an Alexa smart speaker over the pandemic or something, the stats are showing that we're still using it, and even more so than ever. That's the case over at our place here. And just to make the distinction before we continue, Melissa, an Alexa-powered smart speaker would be where it's just audio, like an Echo Dot, for example. But then there's the smart displays that I alluded to as well, where you not only hear Alexa giving you the information that you requested, but you see information visually on a screen as well.
Yep. With the Alexa devices that are just the speakers, you can talk to Alexa. She can do things. You can connect smart home devices and you can use them to tell them to turn on her lights or things. With the multimodal devices that have the screens, with those, there's a little bit added functionality, especially when we think about things like a camera. And so where Alexa can actually show you things, she can show you your outdoor camera, for example. She can also show you song lyrics, things like that, or videos. You can play YouTube and things like that on it.
Yeah, perfect. Right. So you can watch videos. If you ask for a recipe, not only will Alexa say it to you verbally, but you'll also see the step-by-step instructions on the screen. Similarly, if you ask for weather, not only will Alexa tell you what the weather is where you are or whatever city you asked about, but it may show you a 7-day forecast visually. So there's lots of benefits to the displays as well. So let's now cover a few of the fun and practical things pet owners can do with Alexa. Maybe we could start with what a routine is and something called called Calm My Dog.
Yes, just for background, a routine is really a way that Alexa can make your day easier and more productive. So you can take a bunch of actions and you can group them together. For example, customers will set up a routine to say, start my day, and Alexa will turn on your lights, start your coffee machine, and maybe read you a news briefing of what's happening that day.
Yeah.
When we see our pet owners, we have a routine that's called Calm Your Pet Today. And what happens with that is if you set up that routine, if Alexa hears your dog barking in your home, she'll actually start playing calming music for your pet to use. And so I use it. I have 2 border collies at home, and one of them is aptly named Echo. And so I use that because he does bark when I leave the house. And so if Echo starts barking, Alexa turns on calming music to help him and let him know sort of somebody's in the home.
Oh, that's great. So usually with an Alexa smart speaker or display, the human has to initiate it by first saying your wake word, which is her name, followed by a question or a command like set my alarm or whatever. But here, in this case, it's listening for the dog barking, and then it'll play the calming music for the dog.
Yes, that's exactly right. And you configure it. And so you allow that sort of, if it hears that, then you can do that.
You slipped and said she. I love it. Yeah, for sure. I know it. I know she's not real, but she is to me.
I know, exactly.
And how can we use Ring doorbells for our pets?
Ring doorbells I find to be really helpful. And so the Ring doorbell obviously has a camera, and lots of our customers have the Ring doorbell and let their dogs out to their front yard. And so with a Ring doorbell and a multimodal screen device, you can just say, Alexa, show me my front door. And that camera on the Ring will show you actually what's happening in the front yard. And so you could watch your dog if your dog was to sort of run away from the yard or things, you can see it. But you can also use two-way talk on the doorbell. And so I can actually say if my dog is outside and is starting to creep out of the front yard, I can say, Echo, stay in the yard through the two-way talk. And he knows then to listen to me and he hears that. So it's a great way to just have added ability to monitor and check in on your dog if they're outside without you.
That's great. We're going to continue chatting with Melissa Moore, Director of Smart Home at Amazon, very shortly about more Amazon pet tech, ways to use your Alexa-enabled smart speaker or smart display, Ring and Blink video doorbells, and more if you've got a dog or cat or other pets. Speaking of which, if you want to Google my name, you'll see articles that I've written about pet tech, everything from self-cleaning litter boxes to dog collars that let you create an invisible fence for your dog. You're at the beach, you want to make sure they don't go past that, or if they do, how to track them. I've written about the Bird Buddy, which is a smart bird feeder that captures video and audio of the birds that lands on the perch in order to eat the seeds or whatever you put there, and it automatically catalogs what bird it is and it shows up in your app. Love all that. Smart aquariums, there are dog and cat toys and cameras and all that. So if you Google my name, Mark Saltzman, MarkSaltzman, and the words pet tech or dogs or cats, you're going to see the articles that I've written on that topic for the likes of USA Today, AARP, MSN, and other publications. But when we return, more with Melissa Moore from Amazon about what you can do with their devices tied to pet ownership. More Tech It Out coming right up after this short break.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. We're chatting with Melissa Moore, Director of Smart Home at Amazon. We're talking specifically today about pet owners who have Amazon devices and what features are baked in to help you and your furry friends. With that in mind, tell us about the Ring Pet Tag.
The pet tag is a really way to just give you some added security for your pet. It's a small tag that just attaches to the dog's collar and has a QR code. You then in the Ring app can set up a pet profile with your pet's name, image, age, information about your pet, including health information if there's anything in particular you'd want somebody to know. And if your dog was to leave your yard and you notice they escaped or got loose, you can actually in the Ring app toggle to let them know that your dog is out in the loose. And that way it updates the neighbor's app to let people in your area know that there's a dog loose. And if somebody were to find your dog, they can just scan the QR code and then get in contact with you. And it actually keeps your identification and information private, but they can see the dog's name and information, and they get a little thing that says contact owner. So just a really nice way to give you added security, because every once in a while your dogs do get loose on the leash or figure out a way to escape the yard. So a great opportunity for customers to utilize that neighbor ability.
All right, so that's the Ring Pet tag, and that works with the Neighbors app.
Yep, and it worked right in the app for you.
Before we wrap up, Melissa, are there any other Alexa-related things we can do as pet owners?
There's a lot of just fun routines that we really encourage and we see our customers doing with their pets, and pets of all kinds. As an example, I not only have dogs, but I have horses. And so I actually use Blink cameras in my barn with the sort of long battery life, and I put them up on the ceiling, and it allows me to, at night, I can check in and just ask to show me the barn, and I can check in on my horses and make sure they're calm. You can also do where you have outdoor cameras in multiple areas, and so you can see your dogs running around. We also hear from customers, though, kind of cool and fun things, like they'll set up an outdoor camera that's on a bird's nest where maybe there's some birds and their babies hatching, and then they can check in on the cameras on their screen devices with echoes and look at the babies hatching or the moms feeding the babies. So I really think with cameras and things, there's a ton of things you can do, as well as some like routines around in the evening where you can set lights as well. And so you can ensure that if you're coming home late at night, maybe at 6 p.m., you can turn on lights for your dog. So the lights are on. You can even have making sure the temperature is okay for them. So just a lot of ways to give you, I think as all of us have gone back to work a little bit more and being out of the house more, just great ways that you can check in on your home and make sure your home is the best for your pet, as well as check in on your pet.
And then finally, where can we go for more info? Is there a dedicated pet page at Amazon?
Yeah, the best place to go is just amazon.com/smarthome. And that'll give you a page that'll show you a bunch of great smart home devices that you can add to your Alexa home. It also gives you information on routines and other things to do. And so just kind of basic information where you can learn more about it, and then links out to some other sites that provide even more information on different things you can do with your Alexa.
All right. Melissa Moore has been our guest, a director of Smart Home at Amazon. Thanks so much for your time, Melissa. Great to chat with you. Love your dog's name, Echo, and you also have another one named Cash, as well as horses. So you've got no doubt a busy household and barns. Thank you so much for carving out some time to chat with us, Melissa.
Thank you, Mark. Great talking to you today.
Speaking of pets, especially as an allergy sufferer, I know the value of a good air purifier to clean your air of allergens like pet dander and dust, and my nemesis, pollen, as well as pollutants and more. And now LG has a new product on the market we're going to hear about with a special guest who's been on the show before, Kevin Wendt. Hey, Kevin, great to chat with you again.
Hey, Mark, great to hear from you, man. I think last time we chatted was Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, that's right. We did an interview together at the Consumer Electronics Show last year. That was a lot of fun. And Kevin went from winning the first season of The Bachelorette Canada to marrying Astrid, your partner in crime in Bachelor in Paradise Season 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right.
To now a second child. A huge congratulations to you and Astrid on welcoming baby Nash.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, he just turned 6 months the other day. It's still pretty wild having two running around, but we're getting used to it.
Awesome. Congrats. 2 kids and 2 dogs. Speaking of pet hair and dander and all that. So, Kevin, obviously you are a fan of air purifiers, as I am.
Yeah, absolutely. I've really struggled with allergies my whole life, ever since I was a kid. Obviously, adding 2 dogs to the mix doesn't help. They bring a lot of dander in the house. I've definitely made it a top priority ever since having kids to make sure our home has the cleanest air, because you spend most of the time in your own home.
And you're a firefighter too, right? So obviously clean air is top of mind for you as well.
100%. Yeah, it goes hand in hand. From work to home, I'm always looking for that cleanest air, you know?
So, Kevin, you know I've been covering new innovations from LG for quite a while now, and this is the first time that I've seen an air purifier from the brand. Can you tell us more about it? What's it called, and what do you think makes it special?
Sure. So the LG PuriCare 360 HIT air purifier, brand new from LG. And I know me and you discussed this in the past. When LG takes a space, I have great faith because my whole house is full of LG products and they haven't let me down yet. So I was very excited to try this in my own home. And when I really dug into the products, which I always do before I introduce something to my house, I want to make sure I'm getting the best of the best for my family. PuriCare has this multi-filtration system, and it captures the fine dust and allergens. And for me, it's easy to just slap a purifier label on something and think you're getting clean air. But I can tell you, and I'm sure you can attest to this, when you have allergies, you know the difference between the purifier that's working and not. And I've just been really impressed with it so far. Also, it has a sleep mode option. We put it in sleep mode and it just quiets right down to like whisper quiet, which helps us sleep. That's been an issue with products I've had in the past. It just seems to be constantly on and running. When we put it on sleep mode, everyone gets a good night's sleep. And I feel like that's important because at night, you want your air to be as clean as during the day. So that's also a great feature that we take advantage of.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners can relate to that. Can you tell us about some of the other features of this product? Again, it's called the LG PuriCare 360-degree HIT air purifier, brand new to the market, and why you think it's a powerful tool for cleaning the air quality in your home.
Sure, yeah. Well, first of all, it's really sleek looking. Looks like a little robot, and it's portable. It's like a plug and play. So, for example, I have it on my main floor today, but just a few days ago, we were watching a Leaf game, obviously, downstairs. So I wanted to make sure the air downstairs was nice. So it's just a quick unplug, and I plugged it in the basement in the afternoon. And all the LED indicators on top will tell you right when you plug it in what your air quality is, and it will change as it gets better, which is actually very eye-opening when you plug it into a new space and realize like, oh, wow, I did that in my son's nursery. And I plugged it in and I was like, oh, this needs to be improved. And, in no time, it was up to green and clean. So it's nice to be able to move it around. It also, if you look at the unit, it also is 360-degree of filtration. So there's no wasted space on it from the floor right to the top of the unit, constantly bringing in air and filtering it and pushing it out. So there's no wasted space. It's just a really nice, compact, sleek unit. Mm-hmm. My wife is very particular on what is in our house looks-wise, and it's really nice to look at. So that was an easy sell for us. But I just like that it's efficient and every component on it makes sense. So it just runs really well.
And again, that portability, it's nice to be able to move it around, like you said, to a nursery or to a family room if you're going to watch a hockey game, whatever rooms you need the clear air in. More with Kevin Wendt about the first LG air purifier for the home when we return on Tech It Out.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. We are chatting with firefighter and TV personality Kevin Wendt, who has partnered with LG. And he's joining us today to chat about a first for the company, the LG PuriCare 360-degree HIT air purifier. We're unpacking many of its features. So Kevin, you said you've researched these kinds of devices in the past. As a techie, I'd love to learn a bit more about the sensor that's integrated in this air purifier and the ThinkQ app. I understand it's supported, which is of course the LG platform that connects most, if not all, of their devices in the home.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many purifiers on the market that, like I said earlier, I just like to do my research and try to find out what kind of puts products above others, and LG's never let me down. So I thought, okay, let's do the same thing here. And this I think it's PM 1.0 sensor is what it's called. You're the tech guy. I hope that resonates with you when I say it. Just the firefighter. It really excited me to read about it because it detects the microscopic particles. And I learned so much through my doctor when they were prescribing me allergy meds that it's so hard to get those microscopic particles out of your home, especially when you have pets and stuff. So reading that exact term was like, oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And I love that it efficiently eliminates most of those particles. And if you're really looking into a product, why look at something that's half doing it and not a company like LG that always kind of goes above and beyond. So that really impressed me. And also I have LG appliances in my kitchen, 2 of the OLED TVs. I have the vacuum cleaner, the wash tower. So I use the ThinkQ app, and it's great because everything's kind of in one spot. It's like the laundry stuff, turning on and off the TVs. I use it for my appliances. It tells me when to change the water filter in my fridge. So I've been using the ThinkQ for a while. It's just a really easy app to navigate. So this was a big one for me because the PuriCare, I can add to that as well. It tells you when to clean your filters, tells you the quality of the air, where you have it plugged in. So, and I know me and you discussed that in person. I said the ThinkQ app was always just a really big selling point because everything is so connected in your home. Why not have one easy spot on your smartphone to kind of figure it all out? So those were 2 big selling features for me. And like I said, I probably went above and beyond on the digging into the specs, but
No, I think it's great. Yeah.
The sensor's a big one for me because I know a lot of other competitors, they just kind of brush over that part and say it cleans the air, and that's kind of it.
Before I let you go, Kevin, on a personal level, can you just again speak to the value about having an effective purification system in your living spaces and what it's going to do for you and your family?
Sure. Yeah. I just love this topic because this is a new space for LG, and it's not just talking about, the usual suspects, the TVs and appliances. My wife and I were talking about this, and if you walked into a home and there was a really dirty couch, would you let your kid run and jump on the dirty couch? Probably not. You'd probably say, hey, let's stay away from that couch. I feel like air quality is such an overlooked thing in your home. And in Ontario, where I am, it's like doors are open all summer and you're always letting all the allergens in, and pups are running in after running in the field. And you realize your air quality changes so much throughout the day and throughout the season that it should be steady and clean. And I feel like it's just such an easy thing to overlook when you're talking about quality of life in your home. Once I heard LG was kind of getting into this space, I was really excited about it. And now I'm definitely a customer.
And one more thing to note, if I may, that the multi-filtration system is supported by true HEPA filter technology that helps to capture and eliminate those allergens from indoor environments. And this LG air purifier is also Energy Star certified, like so many other LG appliances are, just to add that in there as well. All right, Kevin, as we wrap up, for the folks at home or in their car, where can we learn more about the LG PuriCare 360-degree HIT air purifier?
Yeah, for all the information on the LG air purifier, you can head to lg.com. And now you can also purchase right from that website as well. So yeah, I definitely encourage you to take a look.
All right, Kevin Wendt has been our guest. Thanks so much for your time, Kevin. All the best to you and your growing family. Hoping we can chat again soon.
Mark, thanks so much for having me, buddy. Appreciate it.
It's no surprise generative artificial intelligence, or Gen AI for short, is fundamentally changing the game for all industries. Business leaders are excited about the potential of AI as it can help you get more done in less time, fewer resources, yet they're understandably concerned about risks like AI hallucinations, bias, and security issues. And so we're joined today by Phaedra Boinodiris, IBM Consulting's global leader for Trustworthy AI, to discuss the key challenges that she's hearing about tied to Gen AI and what the solutions are. Hi, Phaedra. Good to chat with you.
Likewise, Mark. Likewise.
Now, before we talk about the key AI-related challenges that you're hearing about from businesses and governments, let's first define Gen AI for our audience.
Generative AI is AI that generates synthetic content. So it's synthetically generated content. It could be in the form of text or images or audio or video.
So it generates content that you ask it, and you type in something called the prompt to ask this platform to create content for you. And it's not just used by consumers who want to know, where should I go when I visit Portugal? Create a 3-day itinerary for me. But so many businesses are using it. But one of the challenges that I hinted at in my introduction is the accuracy of AI, often referred to as hallucinations. Can you define that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So a hallucination is, in essence, when it generates something that is incorrect. And for example, when you have a generative AI that synthetically generates text, what it's really, really good at is predicting the next syntactically correct word in a sentence. Mm-hmm. But it fundamentally doesn't understand the context or the relationship between those words, which is why it's prone to these hallucinations. It's prone to generating this content, which could be totally bogus.
Right. It could be well written, but not entirely accurate. It depends also on the data set in which it's based on, right? And sometimes in an industry, they feed it information, like a law firm will feed it legal data. Doctors may be relying on medical data. So there's also some concerns there as well. And we're also going to get to ethics and governance concerns. So a lot more with Phaedra from IBM to talk Gen AI, generative AI, when we return on Tech It Out. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
Before we continue on with Phaedra from IBM to talk AI, did you know that shoppers are 3 times more likely to enter an unfamiliar store if it displays a Visa logo? This is because Visa has invested billions over the years in fraud prevention, so you don't need to think twice about shopping online or at retail with your Visa card. Visa is deploying advanced technology to ensure customer data is not vulnerable, no matter where the transactions take place. This includes tokenization, pioneered by Visa as one part of the solution, which reduces the risk of identity theft because the merchant never sees your actual card number. To learn more about Visa's work in protecting you and your purchases, head on over to visa.com/security. We're chatting with Phaedra Boinodiris, IBM Consulting's global leader for Trustworthy AI. Love the title. What would you say are the common myths or maybe misunderstandings about generative AI?
For whatever reason, a lot of people think 100% of the effort to develop AI broadly is coding. It's not true. The largest bulk of effort is just making sure you're picking the right data, right? So we desperately need people trained to be thinking about the nature of data. Is this data representative of all the different kinds of people which we need to serve? Was it gathered with consent?
And what I like about that is that it still requires humans to make sure that the AI is doing its thing and it's being accurate and without bias. So
not just any humans either. Like today, it's really important to recognize there's a teeny tiny homogeneous group of humans, group of people that have the power to determine which data sets to use to train our models.
Right.
So if we're going to have AI models better reflect the diversity of all of us, we desperately need to have a far wider variance of different kinds of people, both developing AI models and developing the systems of governance around those AI models.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean in terms of gender and race and ethnicity, but indeed different lived world experiences.
With that in mind, when it does come to ethics and governance, what are some of the concerns with Gen AI exactly?
Oh my goodness. Similar to what we saw with more traditional forms of AI, but even more exacerbated. So for example, you mentioned hallucinations, so inaccurate outputs, but also you could have representative harms, unfair outputs. If you go to an image generator, and there are several out there, start putting in the prompt like, show me an image of a typical doctor, a typical CEO, a typical prisoner, a typical terrorist, and just give it that same prompt like 50 times and look to see which gender, which race, which ethnicity, what skin color is being depicted. And you will absolutely see examples of representative harm.
Yeah, I know with Google Gemini, they have backtracked on its people image generation because of quote unquote wokeness, where it was showing like the founding fathers of the USA were, like a Native American and a black woman and an Asian. Historically, it's incorrect. It may be politically correct.
Exactly. And
So acknowledging these challenges, Phaedra, before we wrap up, how do we address them? And is it too late if it's true that 50% of CEOs today say they're already integrating generative AI into their products and services?
It is not too late. And what I would suggest to people, ask the questions. Who is accountable for this model? Because without accountability, there isn't trust. What's the level of accuracy of this output? How often is it audited? What is it audited for? Is there a place you can go to get this critical information? Is it even interpretable to you? So being critical consumers is going to be really, really key.
And then how does IBM help here?
So we publish a lot about our best practices, how we train our own practitioners, global, diverse, multidisciplinary teams to be thinking about what are these human values that we want to see reflected in the technologies that we're using. Additionally, we help clients establish what we call organizational AI governance, teaching companies how do you build these AI models responsibly. And also we've developed tools so that people can see, are these AI models working the way that we intend them to work? Are they producing accurate and unbiased or fair outputs? Both of these are critical components, again, of earning people's trust.
And then the best URL would be ibm.com/AI.
Definitely go to ibm.com and you will find all kinds of information about this area. We've also, if you look up IBM IBV, Institute for Business Value. These are reports which we have publicly published that talk all about these statistics and best practices.
Really interesting conversation. It's fascinating to me. Thank you so much for your time, Phaedra, and your expertise.
Oh, the pleasure is mine. Thanks, Mark.
As we wrap up another episode of Tech It Out, a huge thank you to Intel, the title sponsor on this program, for your support. Head on over to intel.com/AIPC or intel.com/Core Ultra to check out its latest laptops powered by the most advanced processors. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. I look forward to catching up with you next weekend for another episode of Tech It Out. Bye-bye for now.